Oh, we should fucking sing a theme tune.
It's the Unicyclelife podcast. Do 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 do. Time for podcasting and unicycling. Do 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 do.
Welcome to the Unicyclelife podcast. This is, I guess you could call this the pilot episode. We just wanted to get some content out where we just talk about unicycling. I don't think there's a Unicyclelife, a unicycle podcast.
Not that I know of.
No. So we thought it'd be a cool thing to do. Maybe some people are interested in it. We've made it downloadable as well, so you can put it on your MP3 player of choice. Wow, MP3 players. Does anyone have an MP3 player? I do.
I feel like, do people download things anymore?
No, it's all just sort of streamed now because everyone's got unlimited data.
Yeah. Okay.
SoundCloud up the ting. It's fine.
You could. Okay then. I guess you could stream
on
it.
SoundCloud, download. You can on your iPod Shuffle, out on a ride.
Yeah, man. I still have an iPod.
Other clippable music devices are available.
Yeah. So, I guess I should introduce the speakers. My name's Ed Hawkes. I've been riding for 16 years. I ride mainly trials and street. We've also got Simon Berry on the mic.
What's up? My name's Simon. I've been unicycling for 11 years and ride/organise/party a lot with the STFU boys. I mean, if you're into STFU, you may have known that already.
STFU.
But if you're new, welcome. Hopefully you'll enjoy these chats. And I was going to say learn something, but this isn't really a workshop. You'll probably come away from this knowing less than you did coming in. But it might be enjoyable.
You'll know a hell of a lot more shite. and also, well, you can't see, but I'm looking to my left. We've got Duncan Codd in the house.
All right. I've been riding for about 7 years, I think. I mainly do Muni, but I do go along to STFU rides just for the people, not for the riding.
For the bants.
For the uninitiated, Duncan Codd is the king of revs. Duncan will rev literally anything. Yesterday at the STFU January ride at Adrenaline Alley, I saw him rev a 29er Goonie in gear, and I thought the Earth was going to start turning backwards.
The inertia involved would put many planets out of their orbit.
Yeah.
Just a note, they are all completely unplanned revs. I can't rev on demand.
Duncan can't hop and stop pedaling. Duncan has to continue pedaling at all times, and that includes when he's in the air. So yeah, the plan is to do these episodes periodically, I guess, and hopefully we'll have like different guests on as well. That'd be cool. Mike Taylor was supposed to be on this episode, but unfortunately he had to go home after the ride. So hopefully we'll get Mike on one of these soon. And I think I'm just going to go straight into... We're just going to talk about random unicycle topics that are kind of current, I guess. And the big one at the moment is the new Impact team. And actually, I don't know if the new Impact team, if it's public knowledge yet, but this might come out just after the announcement.
Let's just hope that Roger is fine with us
being
the first people to announce this.
So, yeah, Rog, if you're listening, sorry if you didn't want us to talk about this, but we're talking about it. I've made some notes here, and I've got the list of the old factory team and the flow team. For those that don't know, the Impact team was made up of like two teams. And I guess you could say the factory team is kind of like the... how would you describe it? Like the showroom,
like the pro competition level.
Yeah, I guess you could describe it. It's like pro and am. So the factory team from the last year was Mark Fabian, Tim Desmet, Mike Taylor, and Mimo Siedler. And then you've got the flow team, which I guess is like the equivalent of amateur, if you're familiar with BMX and skateboard stuff. And it was Adam Gerger, Clement, I always get this name wrong. Clement Pujol.
Yeah, that'll do.
Daniel Ackerman, Eric Winterfeldt, Ivar Christensen, Louis Stevens, Ruse Seegers, and Simon Berry. So they were the old teams. And then the new team is Mark. There's only one team now. So there's no flow and there's no factory. So we've only got the impact team, which is Mark Fabian, Tim Desmet, Mike Taylor, Mimo Seidler, and Eric Winterfeld, which is a very strong team, I think.
I think that's a very strong team.
And I actually kind of like the fact that Impact have, like, I would say, streamlined the team.
Yeah.
Where they've lost some good not lost, I guess they've dropped some good riders. I mean, immediately looking at the old Flow team list, Clement, he dropped some sick shit last EUC I went to.
Yeah. Clement is a very, very good rider.
Yeah.
Thinking back to EUC last year, when he was trying to do like a catch 180 double flip down that 8 foot / 2.5 meter drop.
Yeah.
It was insane. But I guess there's more to being a sponsored rider than breaking stuff in comps.
Yeah. And I think if you look at the new list compared to the old team, all the riders on there are like consistently good.
Yeah.
And very active on social media.
And riding Impact.
Yeah. I mean, it's very trialsy as well. The new team.
That's good to see, though.
With the exception of Mimo. Yeah, I guess so.
I think Trials needs the boost sometimes a bit more.
Yeah.
Less videos posted in it. So by the incentive of giving people an Impact team.
I feel like Trials has had like a little bit of a lull over the last maybe like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Hopefully, though, a team like this will take us out of the lull.
Yeah, I mean,
lull.
When you look at the Mad team, it's very like flatland and street oriented. So maybe
you say that. Jonas, Jorgensen, Pierre, who does everything.
Yeah, I guess Pierre's a strong trials rider. Yeah. It's nice to see Trials is like still. Yeah. There's still a very strong Trials element there.
Is Eric Winterfeld on the Impact team?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, he's on the
very strong. Very, very strong.
Yeah, obviously second to Mark. Could have won as well at Unicon last summer.
Just in the dark eliminator.
In fact, to be fair, between Mark and Eric, there's probably nothing. It's just down to who could ride that tiebreaker line, like the furthest.
Yeah. In the dark.
So essentially, in my mind, Mark and Eric are probably like same level.
Yeah, it's just to sidetrack a bit. It's a shame to see. Well, it's not a shame to see. It's interesting to see Louis leaving the team. I think Louis could be a strong, factory condensed, whatever we call it now.
Yeah.
Impact team member. I don't know what the dialogue was there, but Louis is a really, really good rider, and that's not to say we won't see really cool stuff from this year just because he is not on the Impact team.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see if any power moves are made.
Yeah.
This year, I don't know if we'll move anywhere else or do some crazy things.
Actually, it's very. I'm a bit gutted that Adam's gone. Actually.
Oh, that's true.
I really like Adam Gerge's trial style.
Is he on the Flow team?
He was on the old Flow team, yeah, which now doesn't exist. So it's quite sad to see him gone.
Yeah, I guess he's quite busy though with his own projects.
Yeah,
he does have a lot of those on. And I have left the Flow team. I suppose I should mention this if I'm here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks like we're avoiding it. And that's weird. So I rode Impact Flow team for 2 years-ish, having ridden for UDC in general for about 5 years before that. So now I've gone back to UDC more generally, which is really great for me because I ride a lot of Impact, and if I were to be brand loyal to one brand, it probably would be Impact. But my unicycle is like Impact, Nimbus, bits of KH, all that stuff. So now I'm riding for UDC in general again, which is really nice, and kind of aligns pretty well with kind of the general ambassadorship for the sport that I aim to do, and hopefully do through like SCFU, various demo-y, media-y bits.
Yeah.
Ting.
I mean, it's probably worth mentioning as well that we mentioned the Impact team, but actually, I was going to say the Impact team is very male orientated, but you've got Ruse, who was on the old Flow team, and I was going to say she's gone. She's not gone. She's actually moved to UDC brand ambassador, same as Simon.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's no female representation. In fact, there's more, because you've got the Nimbus team as well. So you've got Freya on the Nimbus team, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce Freya's surname.
So we sort of dissolved the Flow team into a UDC team.
Yeah, so it's not like the Flow team's completely gone. It's just in a different form, I guess.
Yeah. I suppose what we should mention here is that we're talking about this with the knowledge that this is a family of brands.
Yeah.
If you're new to unicycling or just don't know the ins and outs of company structure, which you could very easily not be, unicycle.com is obviously the main distributor worldwide of unicycles, and essentially unicycle.com owns and operates both Nimbus and Impact. So a lot of these rearrangements are kind of internal.
I guess it's like a structural change.
But it's like a structural change for some riders, which means that Ivar was on the Flow team as well and is now a Nimbus rider, which really fits his style because he's basically riding a Nimbus with a wide tyre and short cranks now, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which
I was going to say, speaking of Ivar, you could probably talk about his video now.
What a segue, Ed. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen Ivar's new video, what's it called? True Levels.
True Level.
You need to get on YouTube and watch it right now. I mean, I don't ride flatland at all. I don't even know the name of a lot of flatland tricks. So a lot of I was watching it this morning with Simon, and a lot of the nuances just go straight over my head. I mean, I can look at it and know that the riding is next level, even though I don't really know what's going on in front of me. But some of the crazy hand passes in it, and the way he reaches around, does the reach around on his unicycle, is just something that I've never seen before. It didn't take long. How long did that take? 13 minutes to get to
reach around.
Operation Reach Around. But yeah, I'm probably much more qualified than you in terms of flatland, and even I'm looking at it like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredible to see somebody whose brain is so clearly different to everybody else's. It's such a positive way, doing all this crazy stuff.
I'm just watching it now. And
Duncan's watching it on his phone right now. Catch up.
Yeah, the reach arounds.
Yeah. I mean, when I was watching it, I was thinking, is anyone gonna? Because quite often, a revolutionary video will come out, like when Max Schulz did the Max Whip or the Flip, and you think, holy shit, this is groundbreaking, and then within the next year there's 3 or 4 people who've done the same kind of thing. When I was watching Ivar's video, I was thinking, is this something we're gonna see more of in the future, or is this so I don't want to say revolutionary because it sounds a bit dramatic, but is this so far ahead? Do you think this is something we're going to see more of?
I think it's basically starting a completely different school of flatland. Especially if we look back to old school flatland, which was just uni spinning and crank flipping on flat ground, and then Spencer brought in this revolution of rolling wraps and back rolls and stuff, and then the European riders took that to another level, and then I'd say in the mid 2010s the next revolution was kind of flatland riders increasing openness to freestyle tricks, because they're the same. I can't tell you any different. They're the same tricks, which has been really cool. So that opened up a lot of doors into wheel walk and coasty things, and I think coasting is something we'll talk about later on as well. But now Ivar's style, along with what Pablo's doing, and there are a couple of other riders that I can't think of right now, but there is kind of this growing school of really kind of to me it seems very artistic, but yeah, it's really kind of artistic, but just mega creative stuff that I never even would have thought of.
I'm really enjoying some of like the unicycle manipulation stuff. I mean, you're seeing a little bit of circus come back in, which is kind of, I don't know how I feel about that.
I think we could do a whole podcast about that.
Yeah.
But there's the only reason people get angry at the circus stereotype is because it's an incorrect stereotype of circus, and it's like a stereotype of circus where it's like idiots in a big top.
Yeah.
And any circus, anyone that does any type of art associated with the circus would be annoyed by association with that, I think.
Yeah, true.
But to say something is like a circus art is in many ways like a massive, massive compliment to its like authority, essentially, because it's really cool and ambitious and creative and delivered well.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially in Eva's case, he goes to a circus school and trains circus arts.
Yeah,
and likely will be a circus performer, so that's definitely like...
And that shows.
An influence. But you could say the same about the influence from freestyle unicycling if we want to segregate the two.
And
People get very shirty about that when it's really just tricks, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I'm very much... I used to be very open to the separation between the disciplines, but now I'm like, it's riding. It's all riding.
Yeah.
It's just riding a one-wheel bike.
Not that this podcast is a platform of my own agenda, but in my mind, flatland and freestyle, the tricks could be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Flatland is as a discipline is the practice of doing tricks on flatland, and in a competition scenario, that's usually battles. And freestyle is the practice of doing tricks on flatland, but the competitions are based around like a routine that is choreographed, artistically delivered in costume to music, etc. And the tricks are basically the same. I think you could feasibly win if we don't think about the fact that judges might be biased against what flatland in quotation marks is.
Yeah.
You could feasibly win a freestyle competition if your choreography was great and your costume was sick and the music was good. Doing all like traditional flatland, again in inverted commas, tricks.
You need to. It's the flow that you get more of it in flatland. No, in freestyle.
And then again in a flatland competition, you could do a lot of traditionally freestyle based tricks that still hit the grading criteria in a flatland comp as long as they're varied, difficult, and consistent.
Yeah.
And non-repetitive. But I think some of the reason that flatlanders get annoyed when freestylers enter flat competitions is because they haven't necessarily understood the full nature of competition, so they don't always enter it with the right tactics. So they come into a battle and essentially do their freestyle routine, which doesn't always hit the right criteria to be flat comp winning, and then creates this dissonance.
I think the like the mentality between riders, and this isn't like derogatory to either group. Like the mentality of flatland riders is that you're riding together, even though you're in a battle against another rider. You are kind of, and I'm not in freestyle circles, so maybe I just don't have the inside scoop on this. This is like looking from an outside perspective, from like more of a flatland point of view. I feel like there's camaraderie between flatland riders, where and like you're pushing the other person to do better tricks, whereas when I've watched freestyle competitions, it kind of looks like you are trying to win, and I've probably got this totally wrong and twisted, but it looks kind of like you just want to smash the competition.
Yeah, I'm
probably going to get a lot of freestylers jump on me now to say no, that's totally bullshit.
But if you're a freestyler and you agree and or disagree, please let us know, because we're genuinely not that informed on this.
And I guess that's because we're not from like a freestyle background. Yeah, but to me, from the outside looking at freestyle comp, like it's very competitive, and it's like when I watch a flatland competition, I just see lots of very good friends trying to push each other to be better.
I
mean, there's a whole nother topic here for another podcast about the nature of unicycle competitions as open competitions, and then the phenomenon you can get from that is people entering competitions that they can kind of enter because they have the ability as maybe like a medal winning exercise to kind of hit as many comps as they can in that week, when it's not necessarily something that they actually practice or do, or
that is a whole nother topic though.
But that's the nature of open competition and what that involves is definitely a conversation for another day.
I think that's definitely something that needs to be addressed in unicycle competitions in general though.
Yes.
On that note though, we should talk about 20-inch unicycles, because they've been making a massive comeback, especially in urban.
Yes.
Which is really cool to see. I've been riding a 20 for the last year and a half now. And it's interesting that the 20-inch came back to urban with the KH Flatland. And when was that? Was that 09?
2011? 09 or 10? Yeah.
I think it was 09.
Possibly.
Because I remember seeing Spencer riding it. And Spencer, if you're still riding, and even listening to this, then I apologise. But I haven't seen Spencer ride for a long time. I guess just because he doesn't ride on social media doesn't mean he doesn't ride. But
at Spencer Hotberg, I wish I could tag people with my voice. At Spencer Hotberg, let us know if you're still riding, please.
But yeah, I guess he was the first person I remember seeing riding the KH20.
He developed it with Chris quite intensely, with the shorter cranks as well.
Yeah, and then it kind of died and just went away.
People experimented with it for a while, and I remember Eli was riding a 20. I think he enjoyed it. That was when people were riding the stock tyre that came with the KH as well, generally, which I think was a Maxxis Grifter.
It was a Grifter, yeah.
It was a 2.1 and it looked a bit shit.
Yeah. But I think that also reflected the parts that were available at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
BMX, that was one of the widest BMX tyres you could get. And I think probably the return of the 20-inch coincides with the availability of wide BMX tyres.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ride any modern BMX, it feels like a big fucking fluffy marshmallow because the tyres are so massive. And I think that's definitely what has helped the return of 20 inches in unicycling.
And then years ago, I don't really know why, but people riding 20-inch units were kind of chased out of town and accused of cheating in their flatland tricks. Excuse me. Chased out of town for their flatland tricks because it was in some way cheating because the wheel was lighter or whatever. Ignoring the fact that even those riding 19 inches were trying to build the lightest unit possible.
Yeah.
So it was like if you landed a quad flip on a 20 inch, it didn't count because it wasn't on a 19.
What?
Which blows my mind. But hopefully the community's become much more...
I like to think we've got past that.
Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely an association between the growth of 2.4 inch fat BMX tyres and Unes. Also availability of rims.
Yeah.
And when you started riding, Ed, on a 20 inch, you had to find an old KH.
Yeah, I had real trouble sourcing a wide enough rim.
Yeah.
And that was only 18 months ago.
I'm riding a KH that came out just before the Impact 20 inch came out. But until then, there was nothing like 47mm wide and 20 inch that was easily available.
Yeah.
And now Impact and Madform both produce a 47mm wide 20 inch rim.
Which I think is probably more what's changed the game for us as unicyclists. I mean, obviously the availability of wide tyres has helped, but yeah, the rims becoming available has really helped the growth of 20 inch, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I was thinking about this the other day. BMX. I'm from a BMX background. For anyone that doesn't know, BMX, or what people call mid-school BMX now, is kind of the era that I grew up in. And bikes were really heavy. You'd have a 40-pound bike with 4 pegs, a big 36-tooth chainring, and it would weigh an absolute ton. And the riding styles reflected that. But when bikes got lighter, and tyres got wider, people started running less pegs, less brakes. Like the riding style changed, and I can see a direct like parallel in unicycling with the 20 inches. People have, like, you could probably say the BMX riding style developed because everyone's riding is just generally cleaner in modern riding.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing has happened in unicycling, where cranks have got shorter, which has resulted in people riding smoother.
Yeah, it's a bit less forgiving to ride shorter cranks, but for me, when I'm riding 20 inch with 110s on, a 19 inch is more forgiving with long cranks, but that's why my riding style is so rubbish for years, because I was doing like 900 sides and landing on a squishy tyre with long cranks, and I'd almost be forced to hop out. Like, obviously you could land clean, but if you landed heavy on a bouncy tyre, it's really hard not to make that bounce out.
Yeah.
Whereas if I do a trick now, I either kind of land it clean or don't land it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit less forgiving, but the result is that
Everything looks a bit cleaner.
yeah, I think my riding looks way better on the uni I'm riding now than it did when I was riding it.
I think the short cranks
19.
also make a massive difference in street. 'Cause
Yeah.
people are just able to get higher speeds, so longer grinds, and just the rolls are easier because less distance.
Yeah, I mean, especially when I first started riding 20 with 110s, I've never been someone who does like spins or flips, which I think generally introduce like jerkiness into the riding anyway, or like a little bit of like that. It's obviously going to slow you down. But when I first started riding a 20 with short cranks, it was like the thing I'd been looking for ever since I first started riding street on a unicycle. But especially coming from a BMX background, I talk about this a lot. Coming from a BMX background, I've always been searching for like that speed and flow that it just doesn't really translate onto a unicycle. Yeah. But when I started riding the 20 inch with short cranks, it was kind of almost there, and it just felt like that's what I was been aiming for the whole time I've been riding a uni.
Yeah.
And I've actually even noticed it with you, Duncan. Since you've been riding shorter cranks, even on like the bigger wheels and on the munis, your riding style is a lot cleaner, just with the shorter cranks.
Yeah, it's definitely because you can spin a lot quicker without losing your balance for muni, especially.
Yeah,
because I was
spin so much faster.
Yeah, I've had a cadence meter on before, and I was hitting 200 RPM going down a hill, and if I was riding my 150s, that'd have been impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
200 RPM, that's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's almost like it's taken us 20 years as a sport to go from all unis having like 170 cranks, because that's just what bikes had. But obviously on a bike you're cranking a ratio that's far bigger than 1:1. And now we're seeing that you can actually get really short cranks, and as like a gear ratio, it's so much better in almost every way. And even the old arguments for kind of hill climbing on long cranks still exist, but only to a point. Like, I don't know anyone that would really have cranks longer than 140 on any unicycle now.
It's the rhythm as well, because what I found, especially like uphill muni, if you have long cranks, you've got the leverage, but you can't keep that rhythm of spinning going.
It's just like plodding.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like half rev at a time.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. And I've got 110s on my 24 Muni now as well. And yeah, some people, like, when they see them, they're like, what the hell? But actually, for hill climbing especially, I found it actually better. Yeah, it's a bit harder to pedal, but once you've got that rhythm going, it's easy to just keep rolling.
Yeah, I just looked at the Schlumpf to my left, 29er Schlumpf, and it's got 110s on at the moment, but
yeah,
I've not ridden it yet. I've just been building it.
That is insane, though.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, that sounds like pain.
Yeah, we'll find out how that rides soon enough.
Yeah, while we're talking about 20 inches, though, we're talking about 20 inches and short cranks because we're all doing it. And while 20 inches are definitely growing, the short cranks thing is definitely newer. And still needs to be explored a bit more. In that, like, I'm really into it, Ed's really into it. I know Jack Seven is really into short cranks. He's riding a 22.
What cranks does he ride?
Vaporwave as fuck. He's riding a 20. I think Jack Seven rides a 22 inch on 125 cranks.
Nice.
And he says that feels very similar to riding a 20 inch on 110s.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm pretty sure I've read that. So that's growing but Mimo is riding a 20-inch now, which is sick. And I think he's going to do a lot in terms of people riding 20s, because if Mimo can do what he's doing on a 20 and make it look that good, as a case study for the concept, there's probably nothing better than that.
Yeah.
But he's still riding 130 groovies, which are really nice cranks, and for technical tricks I can definitely see the advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
But I also feel like if there was a groovy in like 118, 120...
Hint, 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 Roger.
Maybe it would be incredible. The 118 Eiffels are there for that.
Yeah. I don't know if they have the strength. I mean, I don't know if we want to talk shit on product on this podcast.
I mean,
I'm not affiliated with any brand.
Personally, I don't think they have the strength that groovies have, but for a lot of people, they may well be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some 110 Eiffels, the new ones, and they're bent. But that I've landed some not very big, but I've landed some big-ish drops. Like
you've landed heavy
to
as well.
Flat, heavy on them.
You have them on your Muni for a bit as well.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I've actually got them on my Muni currently.
Yeah, that makes them.
That might be what's twisted them, to be fair, because I do bigger drops on the Muni than on my street.
Yeah.
The torque's probably bigger as well because you're fighting against more of a speed.
Yeah. I'm surprised Mimo's on. I mean, it makes sense he's on the groovies, and the technical shit that he does probably needs it. I was going to ask, do you think that 20s are more popular now for street? Do you think that's going to mean 19s are going to become less popular? I mean, obviously for trials, they're still the size to have.
Yeah.
But do you think they're going to fall out of popularity a bit?
Depends on this sort of how much you can bounce on them, because I've not ridden a 20 since I learnt, so probably not the person to ask. But yeah, if you can still get the same amount of spring out of them, I reckon you can still, they'll become, 19s will become obsolete in street.
And it's interesting because Mike...
Street relies less on bounce anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mike managed 133 centimetre side hop in the week. It's on the STFU Insta. If you haven't seen it, go to the STFU Instagram and have a look. And that was on a 20-inch with a QX tyre.
Yeah, the QX Cross Trials tyre on Mike's first ever ride on a 20-inch wheel.
Yeah.
There's definitely potential there. And I don't know if there's much point speculating that hard against it, but I know that 20-inch use is going to increase. So the assumption might be that 19-inch use might decrease a bit. Or people might just have two unes. Like,
yeah.
But it's
might
good.
have a trials and a street/flat use.
Actually, yeah, I guess so. Because we're talking about very specific cases. Like, Mike is very good at riding trials and side hops, but I'm very average at both trials and street, and I'm still going to own a 19 for trials.
At a beginner level, I think it will be... Because right now, if you're getting into unicycling and you want to buy a stuntable uni, you buy a 19-inch. But in the future, I think there'll be a question between whether you buy a 19 or a 20 for sure.
Yeah.
As time goes on.
People will still buy, starting out, people will still buy 19s because they've got that bounce factor for trials, and it's while they're still developing what they want to do, they'll want that, I guess. But
that's if your primary goal as somebody getting into extreme unicycling is bounce.
Yeah, but I'm saying they have the option then, so they can still develop both and see which one they're more suited to. If they know they're going to do tricks, then yeah, they'll buy a 20 because you don't need to shave the tyre and stuff. And all other reasons.
And I guess like people that have developed their technique, hopping on a 20 is not going to be as hard as hopping on a 20 when you're a beginner, because you develop that technique, you know how to time the bounce and stuff. I feel like that's a lot easier on a 19 with a trials tyre, and you kind of learn the techniques on a 19 because it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So maybe actually 19s still serve a very like broad purpose.
Yeah,
do you reckon
right now,
19s will be used still in flatland, or do you reckon 20s is going to bleed into flatland?
That's an interesting one.
I think I've got some thoughts about this. I think people are still going to ride 19 inches for flatland, and they'll definitely still serve a purpose for what is kind of like the streety side of flatland, like power moves, unispins, crank flips, etc. But that's all doable on a 20 technically.
Ivor was riding a 20 in that video, wasn't he?
Yeah, but Eva rides like new gen flatland where 20 inch is really, really useful.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do like tyre bounce.
So like the old school spinny flippy boys, I think are going to ride 19 for a while. But as flatland grows, it's interesting that we were talking earlier about the parallels between unicycling and BMX. Flatland unicycling is following a very similar progression to BMX flatland over the last 25 years or so. I don't know the time frame. But if you watch an old school BMX flat video, people are hopping on the spot and they're doing like individual tricks that are linked by hopping, and we've kind of passed that in unicycling and went into rolls, etc.
Yeah.
And then the new gen is looking way, way more similar to like current BMX flatland, and it's very coasty, very kind of smooth and cyclical in its nature, like pattern based.
Yeah.
Eva talks a lot about kind of symmetry in his combos and all of this crazy shit. I don't understand about that, but it's definitely moving to this place that's more kind of floaty and, in my opinion, is like more aesthetic than bouncing around.
Definitely.
But I can't see power moves going anywhere for a while.
No. I do very much enjoy like some of Pierre's foot jam mental combos on a tyre which got like 12 psi.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what would happen though if they released something that was more similar to a BMX style shape in a 19 by 2.5 that just wasn't knobby.
Yeah, like a bit of a slick.
Yeah.
Like,
Because that's why in the late noughties, early 2010s, all the Cox riders were shaving tyres and making like slick 20 inches.
That's true. I haven't seen a shaved tyre in a long time actually. I wonder what happened to those. I guess that 20 inch happened.
Yeah. It's very expensive as well to be buying new tyres.
Yeah, just
wearing them down.
ankle grinding them. Have you ever tried... you must have shaved a tyre, Simon.
I don't like that judgment of my face. Yeah. No, I've never shaved a tyre. I used to...
It's fucking difficult.
Try and buy all my tyres second hand because I didn't like having to wear them in.
Okay.
Or have too much grip. But I never would like shave them down. I would just buy them quite worn where I could.
I tried to shave a tyre once and I got like halfway through cutting one knob off and just gave up.
Yeah.
It was so difficult.
Mike's done quite a bit of fancy stuff with like cutting every other knob off a Monty and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll talk to him about his trials process in another episode, hopefully.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a rough transition. New carbon bases. I mean, I guess it's related.
Parts, yeah, it's all about parts.
It's all about parts. So we have to talk about the new carbon bases. I mean, I first noticed it when Carbon Bases appeared on Instagram and had like 2 followers. I was like, who the hell is this? And I thought it was just some noob.
Fan account.
Yeah.
Submit your Carbon Bases here. Rip in peace, Carbon Bases.
But it turns out it's an actual thing. And it's a guy called Andre, and I can't pronounce his surname. I haven't got it written down in front of me. Working in collaboration with a bike company who make carbon shoes, which is a crazy concept in itself. They can't be very comfortable, but I can't remember the name of the bike brand.
Okay.
No, it begins
Mamo.
with, yeah, that's it.
Mamo.
Mamo bikes, or Mamo Carbon, I think.
Yeah, Mamo Carbon.
And they're looking good. I've seen some development photos, and the setup Sunday last week on STFU was his setup with one of the new bases on. It looks nice. There's a lot of people clamouring for carbon bases, so if they're good, it'll be interesting to see what happens, to see if they are, like, if they stand up to the test.
Yeah, I cannot express with words how much the unicycle scene needs really strong carbon bases at a time like now.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally gold dust. If you have a carbon base to sell, people like throw handfuls of money at you for them.
If you'd bought 10 bases from Axel in 2010 and kept them until now,
They'd be worth.
it would have been probably would have been an investment better than gold, better than property.
It would have
Lego.
been. It would have been better than buying like Bitcoin.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
definitely
sure.
now.
Yeah.
But like, if you'd bought a carbon base, I paid 80 quid delivered for my carbon base from Axel in 2011.
That's a good
And
price.
it's still in perfect condition, and probably to the right person I could sell it for 200 because people really want this stuff.
Yeah.
But I need to keep them because
What do you reckon the good price for a brand new carbon base is? Because
I think people would pay 150 to 200 pounds.
Yeah, you can basically name your price, I think, and
Yeah.
people are going to pay it.
Like anything more than that I would consider quite expensive, but then I think about the experience I've had on my Axel base where I bought it in 2011 and it's been the only seat I've ever needed since then. That's coming up for 8 years. If I'd been riding plastic, I would have been buying a new seat for £50 every 2 weeks, maybe.
That's crazy.
you break
so
them that
do
often.
some maths, and carbon's definitely the way forward.
Yeah.
And it's a very niche part. I'm really hoping that Andres are
Andre.
really good and help to serve that niche. And I think that for particularly niche parts like this, maybe super small batches like that are the way forward.
Yeah.
But there are plans at the moment for Impact as well to be manufacturing something which is like I don't know the full details, so I can't talk about this and be fully knowledgeable. But it's some type of carbon base that will come from factory with foam and cover, and I'm not sure if it's full carbon like we know carbon bases as, or if it's like a carbon composite or something.
Okay.
But I really hope that's going to be a strong option as well
Yeah, I
in the
think
future.
obviously having no options at the moment to having
Yeah.
two is just...
Any increase in options is fucking good.
Yeah, and obviously that's going to drive price as well, so
Yeah.
I guess it's only a good thing. But yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be until these OK ones are out.
Yeah.
There's
I feel,
no
I feel bad
photos or
calling them
anything.
OK bases. Oh, they're
It's
OK.
fantastic bases.
Yeah, these amazing
Right,
bases.
okay.
Andre's basis.
But yeah, like hopefully they'll be out soon. Andre, if you're listening, hit us up with a date. That'd be super good.
And some
super
samples,
sick.
please.
Yeah, we'll review them in the podcast for you.
Speaking of parts and demand and small companies, Ed,
Yeah.
where might a unicyclist go if they were looking for some clothing that kind of suits their lifestyle?
Well, you should probably look straight to STFU London. This sounds like such a cheesy advert.
It is.
Yeah, we just got a new batch of hats in. So, I mean, this is separate from STFU. This podcast is not affiliated with STFU, but I happen to run STFU. And we've just got a new batch of hats in. They are super warm. If you haven't seen one, find someone who has one and ask them to feel the inside of the hat, because it is.
Oh.
They are insanely warm.
They're incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
We've had non-unicyclists buy them because their unicyclist friends
Yeah,
got them and saw how warm they were and were like, well, I'll be.
Yeah.
Never have I ever seen a hat like this.
so yeah, hit up the website stfu.london. Got loads of new ones in stock. We've also got kids Unicyclelife t-shirts in. So yeah, if you're after some kids unicycle clothing, hit up STFU. All the stuff is printed by me by hand. It's not made in large batches, so usually once the stuff is sold and out of stock, that's it. Unless I have a lot of demand for something, I won't do a print run twice because it's just not economically viable. And yeah, it's all hand finished by me as well. Like the labels are put in by me. It's all finished by me. So yeah, if you're interested in some unicycle clothing,
They are sick, and by doing so, anything you do buy, instead of going to H&M or wherever you might buy a hat, every penny you spend goes towards a unicycle community-based initiative that's working on building the community in the UK and abroad, actually.
yeah,
Everything goes back into the videos we make, the events we run, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean it's completely non-profit. The money doesn't go to me. I make the gear and I spend all my time doing it, but the money goes straight back into the community. Like Simon said, it licenses the music for the videos. It helps like hire stuff like the venue for the STFU Trials event, and also
Host the website.
Yeah, that's it. Website fees. Like I say, I've completely forgotten what. Yeah, there's a lot of costs associated with it, and we plough that all straight back in, just because we want more people to ride with. Really, we want some new mates.
Buy our hat, help us make friends.
But no, yeah, the end goal really is to grow the unicycle community, because unicycling is fucking cool.
Yeah.
And
we can make some sick stuff.
Will you be taking some to EUC?
Yeah, and that's a very good. Yeah, we'll be taking stuff to EUC Winter. So if you're at EUC Winter, hit me up. I won't be overtly selling stuff because I hate going on the hard sell. I feel like if you want it, you'll come and find me. But yeah, if you want some stuff, that sounds dodgy as hell. Come and talk to me, and yeah, we'll sort you out. We'll also be at EC, the European Championships, and obviously the STFU Trials event. I'll have a full. I'm not going covert there. There's going to be a whole stall of stuff for sale. So, which leads me on to the UK Trials Championships.
Yeah.
We've got loads of stuff happening in the UK this year. We thought that by planning everything in advance, it would give people enough notice to plan in advance and go to as many rides as possible. So we've got all the STFU monthly rides are pre-planned right up to December 2019. So get onto the STFU website and have a look at the calendar, or the Union of UK Unicyclists website, or unicycle.com UK as well. Same calendar on each of those sites, and it's got all the UK rides, all the urban rides anyway, and it's got some uni events on as well. Yeah, all the British Muni weekends are on there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the monthly rides are on there, but also we've got the UK Trials Championships, which we're holding for the second year now. There's been a bit of a lull in the UK in events for the past 5 years. The last British Unicycle Convention was
2013.
Yeah, 2013 in Cardiff, and that was the last trials. Well, it was the last any competition for anything.
It was the last main event until the BMW started up again in 2015 or 2016.
Yeah, I think it was 2015.
But then it started properly doing monthly or bi-monthly rides only last year, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, so we thought that rather than trying to do like a British Unicycle Convention where we've got the competitions for everything, or an urban competition where we're doing like street trials and flat, we'd just start small, concentrate on one discipline. And to me, trials is the easiest because that's what I'm most familiar with. So, and we've got the venue, which is Radical Bikes in Essex, which is near London.
It's an incredible venue.
Very, very good venue. It's the best, might even be the only trials park in the UK. Big ups, Tom and Molly, Radical Bikes fam. Probably never going to hear this, but I cannot express how cool those guys are.
Very, very supportive of unicycling.
Yeah.
And like anything with wheels that's fun, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically the same as us. We've got this amazing venue at Radical Bikes. The trials course is insane, and it is perfect because we can just take a few pallets along and alter it. And yeah, we just spend a weekend there, have loads of fun riding unes. We have a trials competition. We do a speed trials competition. We do a trials eliminator competition. And then we do a high jump and a long jump, and then some stupid unicycle games in the evenings. But this year we're planning on doing like a unicycle flea market as well. So we're going to have like secondhand. Anyone can bring their old unicycle parts along if you want to sell them. Doesn't cost anything. Just come along, bring them, and put them in the flea market. And we're going to have the barbecue. We had a free barbecue last year, which is included in the ticket price. So
tickets on sale now?
Yeah, tickets are on sale now if you're interested.
Until they're cheap until when?
Yeah, so we're doing tiered tickets this year. Try and get people to register early.
Yeah.
So the cheapest tier is on sale now until the 28th of February. So end of February, ticket prices go up a tier, and then the end of March they go up again, and then end of April they go up again. So yeah, if you're interested, you want to come, talk to if you know Tim Desmet or Ruse Seegers, or who else came along last year?
Fabian.
Mark Fabian came along last year. Yeah, talk to them. They'll tell you how good the event was. And yeah, hopefully we'll see as many people as possible there. It'd be really good to get a lot of European riders along.
Camping,
camping, good times, barbecue. Planning on having some live entertainment.
Very open.
Yeah,
barbecue.
We're very family friendly as well. So we've got family tickets for sale to make it a bit cheaper if you've got like a couple of kids in the family that ride, or even one kid, and you want to come along, but you don't want to pay you don't want to buy a rider ticket for everyone. So yeah, we've got that as well.
Fully non-rider friendly as well.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't ride, it's going to be a really good weekend of just camping and chilling. This year we're hoping to have some live entertainment. I haven't got a band confirmed yet, but we're thinking about getting a band on the Saturday night. And yeah.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, so get on the SCFU website and check that out. There's loads of unicycle events happening this year. I mean, there's 2 EUCs. EUC Summer is in the UK as well. UK's smashing events this year. And we've got EUC Winter coming up in February, which is in Cologne, which I didn't think was going to happen, but then it suddenly happened.
Suddenly happened.
Something in Costa Rica as well.
Big ups.
Yeah.
It happened in Costa Rica as well. There's an EUC
Yeah.
on that part of the world, and an EUC in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing. I think this will be my 7th consecutive EUC Winter.
You're at EUC OG.
Even then, I'm a few years behind the curve.
Yeah, true.
I think, a lot of guys have been there every year. I think Lara Bynes, pick up Lara Bynes, has been going every year for like 10 years. Mark Fabian's been every year for 10 years or so. It's a mad one.
True OGs.
Yeah.
But yeah, get along to... Oh, you can't. It's fully booked. But if you can't get along to EUC Winter, you should definitely come to EUC Summer, which is in the UK.
Yes.
We haven't... we need to get our asses in gear with this. Tickets are on sale now, though. We've teamed up with EJC, which is obviously the same time, same venue. And it's going to be really good because the audience that we're going to get out to is going to be massive in the juggling scene.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can steal some jugglers.
If you haven't been to an EUC at an EJC before, it's not an entirely new concept. It's been done in the summer a couple of times before. The most recent I can think of is 2013 in Toulouse.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good in that obviously we know unicycling is very small, but it's an opportunity to kind of peg unicycling to an event with the infrastructure for an event with several thousand people. Way bigger than a Unicon in terms of the full event. So camping's great, food's great, general facilities are great, organisation's great, and the vibe is generally very, very similar, because the juggling community is pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of jugglers happen to unicycle as well, and not all of those jugglers have been exposed to
cool
unicycling.
It's like an education.
So, the potential is really, really big. And you can either come for a weekend for EUC, or buy a combined ticket that includes access to EJC and EUC and come for the week preceding, I think.
Yeah, I think it's preceding. Yeah.
Come for the whole week before, and it's basically the length of a Unicon.
It's the 3rd to the 11th EJC,
which is great.
And then
yeah,
EUC is just the 7th to 11th, I think.
Yeah. So you can buy a combined ticket or just come for the EUC. I think having it combined with EJC just makes a lot of the things that are usually a pain in the arse to organise for a standalone event happen automatically. like having things like camping, toilets, showers, all the boring logistical stuff like that is taken care of.
Yeah, no unicyclists have time or money to organise.
Yeah, so as part of the organising team, all we have to worry about really is the competitions and like the actual riding element.
Yeah.
And then the publicity, which is we're doing now, I guess. Which is really cool, which means we can concentrate more on like the course. So we're planning on having a really cool street course and stuff. And speaking of the riding, like the courses, we have 3 huge warehouses. It is obviously in England, so the possibility that it might rain is quite high, even though it's August.
Yeah, I hope that the weather will be good.
Yeah, I hope it's going to be good. It's midsummer, so we've got the best chance of good weather. But yeah, we've got these 3 huge warehouses, so if it rains, it's literally going to make 0 difference to the amount of riding that we can get done. So we've got like 3 halls, which in principle means we can have like street trials and flat simultaneously in each one. So you can be riding like one of the courses. I don't know if that's how it's going to work out in real life, because the number of like pallets and stuff that we can get hold of might not be enough to have like a street course set up at the same time as a trials course. Yeah. But the potential's there.
Yeah, full details will appear over the coming months, but generally speaking, it's going to be sick.
You should definitely come.
Really easy to get to, and it's immediately after EC. So if you're Europe-based, you can basically plan 2 weeks of unicycle events.
Yeah.
And if you're not Europe-based, there's more of a reason to come to Europe for 2 weeks.
Just come for a 2-week holiday, go to EC, and then come to EUC. Yeah. I'm running jumps at EC, so I'll be at EC until the 4th, because that goes until the 4th of August. And then EUC actually starts on EJC starts on the 3rd of August. And I think there's going to be a squad of us coming from EC to EUC.
I think there was talk at one point of booking like a coach bus thing to shuttle people between the two, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I mean,
not organising it.
Yeah,
somebody might.
I'm planning on going in a van, so I'm happy to cram as many people as we can into the van to come back to the UK. But yeah,
that van.
It should be. That's going to be a good 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got written down on my list.
Yeah, I think perhaps we should wrap up there for the first podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
do we have a timer on?
Yeah, we're on 58 minutes. Just roll over.
2 minutes of wrap up, and we've done a perfect hour.
Yeah.
Well done, lads.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been a bit rambly, but I think podcasts just are that.
Yeah, I have no idea what we've spoken about, really. I'm going to have to listen to this to figure out what we spoke about.
So yeah, if you enjoyed the podcast, this should go up on SoundCloud, so you can subscribe to the SoundCloud account. As I said at the beginning, we're probably going to make it downloadable, so you can repeat this verbal diarrhea to your heart's content. So we're going to do some more. Hopefully we'll have some different stuff to talk about.
Yeah. And let us know what you think, because we basically have no idea what we're doing, but we like to listen to people chat crap.
And if you're like us, then you probably love talking about unicycling. So give us some ideas for topics.
Yeah, definitely.
And we can discuss them in the next one. And tell us your thoughts.
And if you're a freestyler, let us know what the mentality of competitions is like, because we may have made some sweeping statements that we'll have to issue an apology for.
Yeah. Please just keep the profanity to a minimum. But yeah, happy to take on board any feedback.
Yeah,
I think is what we're saying. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace out, dudes.
Adios.